What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ricky Bobby Show. Come on. I just wanted to come in to talk a little bit about something that I've been dealing with here lately. The last few days, I've been having to really get down on my, just kind of dig in with inside of myself and deep down figure out a little bit about myself, just kind of self-reflect on why I do the things I do and things that, the mindset that I've carried over the last 30-something years, And I've come to the conclusion and the realization that, we're programmed at a very, very young age. We're programmed. What we take on in our life is what we project off of our lives. What we take in our mind and our eyes. For me, one of my biggest deals is with relationships, I just got through watching Good Will Hunting. Okay? And I watched that movie and thoroughly just dug into it and really, I paid attention to it. And most of my life, I've always been a one-man kind of show, And that's kind of how this old boy was, He was very, very intuitive and very highly... he had a really smart mind, and everybody's like, oh, you should do this or you should do this because man, you can make such a better life for yourself. And he's just kind of like, for what? You know what I mean? What I like doing what I'm doing. I like, you know what I mean? I don't. And see, when you're thinking on a level like that, as far as when you're not living by society standards, you're above and beyond that. I can clearly see where he was coming from on that, because it's like. Hell, I used to throw trash for a living. I say grass. And I loved it. Hell, it didn't make sense. It didn't make it damn to me. I did it. Whatever. It was a part-time job. Who cares? But another thing about that is, being hurt from a young age and a young life, in a young life, he was abused, and cigarettes were put out on him, and it really opened up my eyes on the situations, on kind of how I am as a person, because I always push people away before. Sorry, this guy's truck over here is smoking. Looked like it was on fire. But I've always, in my relationships in past, I push people away before I get hurt. I've been hurt so many times. It's kind of like, I'd much rather fucking slit my own wrist versus letting you do it. You know what I'm saying? But that's just kind of where I'm at today. It's just I've been digging in deep and going through some serious emotions. We had a pretty good eclipse that just passed by, and it's really had to get me digging in, diving deep inside myself, and realizing where I'm coming from and what I'm doing and where I'm going, So I said all that to say this, guys. If you're going through life and you're seeing the same patterns, and you're seeing the same reflections, you're seeing the same occurrences over and over and over and over throughout your life, dig deep. Excuse me, I can't talk. Dig deep down inside of yourself and ask yourself, why? Why is this going on in me? Why do I keep having this same result? Why do I keep doing the same thing and expecting different results? Which is insanity. Everybody should know that. And it may not be where you're in a bad situation, or you may not be making wrong decisions. You just may not be going where you want. Because something I learned last night is that whatever's inside of your mind is programmed. And so in your program, when you start to try to do something else bigger and badder and way better than you've ever done before, if your program's not fixed, it's gonna reject all that new stuff that's trying to come in, because you haven't made yourself aware and cleared out all that negative energy and stuff that's inside of your mind So your mind's not capable of taking that in. It's going to reject it. It says, oh no, that's bad software. I don't like that. We're going back to this. So I'm just giving you a little bit of intellect on where I'm at. And, you know, I mean, every truck driver has a story. Every one of them. Every truck driver has a story. And everybody has their own story and their own ideas and their own beliefs and whatnot. But in trucking, there's a lot of negativity. And it's easy to fall into a negative state. Easy. I mean, you running and, yeah, you know, it gets on you. It does. Every city, different vibe, different whatever. But I'm going to throw a challenge out there for 24 hours if you cannot say one thing negative. You do that. If you can do one day, one full day, 24-hour day, that means from the time you wake up and your feet touch that floor and you put your boots or shoes on and you're going to run, if you cannot say one negative thing or have negative thoughts penetrate your mind, now you're on a step to reprogramming your mind. Just an idea. Now, in all cases, nobody's perfect. Will never be perfect. But the thing about it is, strive for excellence. That's my goal anyway. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying. And you know, for the old heads, you know, that's done it all, seen it all, and you can't tell them nothing. Which, I mean, I've been guilty. But what I'm saying is, if you see this, if this video crosses your way, you know, everything happens for a reason. It's not a coincidence. So if you're seeing this, maybe there's a chance that you might just need to try it. 24-hour, no negative challenge. You heard it here first. Well, that's about all I really got today. I mean, I'm just doing some really self-reflecting on my life because my life's heading in a completely different direction that I've never been before. So entitled, for my life to take a different step or go places that it's never been, I gotta reprogram my laptop so I can allow those things to come in and be the greatest version that I can possibly be. I can be who I want to be. And a lot of times, guys, I'm realizing that I know absolutely nothing opens it up for me to know everything. But realizing that we know nothing is a trip. And for us to get out of our ways, for us to get out of our way of what we're wanting to get and what we're wanting to achieve and where we're trying to go, we have to get out of the way. We have to move to the side and step aside and say, you know, this ain't something that you know, I seen something on Facebook and it was like a hand holding on to a rope, and the rope was burning the hand, and on the other end of that rope was a girl or somebody hanging, holding on to the rope. And then in words it said, it does more damage holding on than it does letting go. Meaning, like, if he just let the damn rope go, he wouldn't burn his hand. But what I'm saying is, those are things to think about. In life, life is tricky, boy. When you really dig into it and look at it, and in some cases can't figure it out, and in some cases you can figure it out, and in some cases you just can't figure out which way is up and down and whatever. It's like, man, these are the ways to dig in on your laptop and figure out what's going on. It's not easy to sit here and say, hey, I may not wake up and piss excellence. But realistically, if you want to be the best, you got to learn from the best. And learning from the best is going inside yourself and cleaning out all that junk that doesn't need to be there. Okay? Lead by example. Lead by example. Be something great. Tell somebody you love them today. Shake somebody's hand. Tell them thank you. And that's about really all I got today. As always, don't get none on you. And if you do, make sure it's worth it. Throw me a like if you got one. Subscribe if you need to. And as always, from your friend, Ricky Bobby, one love.